Welcome to the Effortless English Show with the world's #1 English teacher, AJ Hogue, where AJ's more than 40 million students worldwide finally learn English once and for all, without the boring textbooks, classrooms, and grammar drills. Here's AJ with a quick piece to help you learn to speak fluent English effortlessly.
Hi, I'm AJ Hogue, the author of Effortless English. Learn to speak English like a native. Father of the Effortless English System. I train you, I teach you, I coach you to speak English fluently. You speak English powerfully. You speak English confidently, and you speak English effortlessly when you join and when you commit. You commit to my VIP program at effortlessenglishclub.com. Go to effortlessenglishclub.com. Join there, commit there, succeed there. effortlessenglishclub.com. Contemplation is our topic today. Contemplation. I'll tell you the meaning of this word, the deep meaning. We're going to explore the deep, full meaning of this word. It has multiple meanings, or at least multiple, we would say, shades, multiple levels of meaning, and we'll discuss those. And then we'll discuss why contemplation is beneficial and helpful in your life, and why you should create a habit of contemplation, ideally a habit of daily contemplation. Daily contemplation. Meanwhile, I just want to say hi to everyone joining. Aberdamane, Evgeny, sorry. Douglas, good to see you. So we are live on YouTube. As usual, live on YouTube. Now, a couple updates before we go back to our topic, just while I let people join, let the audience grow. Number one, the computer problems are fixed. Yay! I mentioned yesterday we had some problems on our courses site, VIP members, the new business English course, a few little problems. They're fixed now. We figured out it was actually a very simple problem. Very, very simple. Fixed it last night. Everything should be working great now. So, as I said, we just need to be a little patient. It's all fixed. Everything's good. So, I'm going to let the VIP members use that discount code for the business English course for, what's today? 2 more days. Friday, Japan time. We'll say Friday midnight, Japan time. That code will end. It will not work anymore. So if you're a VIP member and you want my business English course, use that code I sent in the email, because you only have 2 more days. 2 more days and finished. What else? Oh, another announcement. I am going to create memberships on our YouTube channel. For the YouTube channel, I'm going to create memberships. YouTube allows you to do this. It's a way to monetize a channel without advertising. I don't like advertising. I don't want, I'll advertise my own courses, of course, but I'm not going to have you watch a lot of stupid ads on my YouTube channel. I don't like it. It's annoying. I don't like it on other channels, so I don't want to do that to you. It's really annoying. So instead, I'll set up just voluntary memberships. I'm going to make a short video later tonight to just tell you the details about that. What's the membership for? It's just for people who want to support the Effortless English Show. Some of you have said you want to support, you'd like to donate, or you'd like to just support the show a little bit. And, just with a small amount of money, maybe you already bought the lessons or maybe not, but you just want to support the podcast. You want to support the show in a small way. So there's going to be a basic membership. It's just $4.99. So about $5 per month. That's all. That's all it is. And there'll be like some little small benefits, some little, they call perks, like little small benefits. You'll get like some extra videos from me. And then there's going to be like a higher level supporter membership. It's about $10 a month, $9.99. And again, that's just a way to support the podcast. I'll use it to buy and to maintain software and equipment and computers, microphones, and things like that, just to make the show keep going. And then there's like a superstar level. This is, again, you'll get like maybe some special live chats with me if you join at that level. That's like $24.99 per month. Again, it's really a way to just support the channel, guys. If you want to learn English with me, you should just get my courses at my website or join the VIP program. That's the best way to do it. But some of you just have said you want to support the channel somehow. So I think this is a good way to do it without advertising. I don't want to do advertising on my channel. I never have done that, and I don't want to. Okay. So anyway, I'll make a little video on that, describing the memberships. I'll put it on YouTube. Don't worry, the normal show everything will be exactly the same. It's all free. The podcast is free as usual. All of that will continue as normal. The memberships, I'll just do like an extra video or some extra live streams for members only sometimes. That's all. Okay? So it's a little extra benefit for those of you who want to help the Effortless English Show. Completely voluntary if you like. Okay, looks like we've got our audience now. Everybody joining, great, good to see you all. So I'm just going to talk about our topic for a minute, and then we'll come back and do live questions and comments. So let's go. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to show you the dictionary definition of this word. Contemplation. Contemplation. The reason I chose this topic, by the way, is that recently at night I've been doing a lot of contemplating. So the verb, we have, as often in English, we have a root word that has different, you can use it as a noun, you can use it as a verb, you can even as an adjective. So the adjective is contemplative, contemplatively is an adverb. The noun is to contemplate. The verb. The verb is to contemplate, and the noun is contemplation. But I've been doing a lot of contemplating in the evenings. See, at night here, I stay up late at night in Japan because I'm taking care of my babies. We have twin babies. We have one baby still wakes up a lot at night, so my wife goes to sleep earlier to get sleep. And then I stay up later, kind of late at night, and so I can feed him and take care of him. And I've got nothing else to do. He is sleeping some of the time. He'll sleep for a couple hours. So during that time, I often will contemplate. It's a very good time for contemplation because I'm alone. It's very quiet. So let's talk about this word. What am I doing? We'll just look at the noun in the dictionary. So if you're watching on video, this is just the Merriam-Webster dictionary online. And let me get it so you can read it. All right, if you're watching on video, you can read it, but I'll read it. Definition of contemplation. Now we have 4 levels here. 4 different, not completely different, but 4 definitions for the word. I'm going to start at the bottom, actually, number 4, because it's maybe the least common and the least powerful. So number 4, the definition, intention, expectation. So something that's expected to happen. And then they have a quote from Sherlock Holmes, actually. A considerable crime is in contemplation, meaning planning to do it. They're planning to do the crime. So contemplation at the very simplest level, thinking about something. Thinking about doing something. That's definition number 4. But we're going to get more deep. Number 3. The act of regarding steadily. Regarding here means thinking about. See, sometimes the dictionary it's hard to, this is why using an English dictionary is not always a good idea, because like this word, the act of regarding steadily, it's really, I don't know. They could have used a simpler way to say this. I'll just say the act of thinking about something steadily, meaning for a while. So thinking about something for a while, that's definition number 3. Definition number 2, the act of considering, thinking about, with attention. Now we have the idea of concentration coming into it. We're getting deeper, meaning we're getting a more and more powerful, a more and more deep meaning of the word with each of these. So definition number 2, an act of considering with attention. Considering here means thinking about. So the action of thinking about with attention. So you're thinking about it, but you're not distracted. Okay, the idea is you're not distracted. You're thinking about something, but with good concentration. You're really just focused on that one thing you're thinking about. And then number 1, there's an A and a B, 1A and 1B. The deepest, the most powerful definition of this word, A, concentration on spiritual things as a form of private devotion. And number 2, or B rather, 1B, a state of mystical awareness of God's being, which is probably the most powerful one right there. Let me give you say this in an easier way. Okay, now A, concentration on spiritual, concentration on, spirituality, religion, spirituality, deep philosophy. As a form, as a way of private devotion. Remember, devotion is like a strong love and strong service. So you're concentrating on God or Dharma or natural law or truth, but with a attitude of devotion, with an attitude of love or appreciation, of service. That's the best definition. That's meaning it's the most powerful, it's the deepest level of contemplation. So you can contemplate, you can contemplate a problem you have in your life. And that's kind of the definition of like number 3 there, where you're just thinking about it with concentration. But the deepest level, the strongest kind of contemplation is where it's very close to meditation and prayer. It's almost between the two of them, where you're thinking about, you can be looking at a tree, for example. But if you're contemplating the tree, it's more, you're not just looking at it. You're not studying it like a scientist. You're looking at it with strong concentration. But at the same time, you're looking at it with an attitude, a spiritual attitude. You're seeing it as a creation of God. You're seeing it as a creation of Dharma or natural law. You're appreciating its beauty. Maybe you're thinking about its long life. Maybe you're thinking about the mystery and the magic of how it grew from a tiny seed to this incredible giant tree. These are the kinds of thoughts you have when you are contemplating something. If you're contemplating a tree, right? You may see the tree as a symbol of, deeper ideas in your life, right? Like you might see a tree and, be contemplating, it might remind you of the ideas of standing strong, of protecting those who are under you. Sabradamani says, use the Cambridge Dictionary because it's easy and simplified. Next time I will. Thank you for that's a good suggestion. I'll check it out. So so again, contemplation at our deeper level is thinking about with, number 1, with concentration, right? You're focusing on something. So again, you can see how this is so close to meditation. You're concentrating on something. It could be an idea. It could be something in the real world. It could be a small thing or a really big thing. But you're doing it, again, with an attitude of devotion, right? Love and care, and with a spiritual awareness of God, Dharma, truth, all of this. Now, what does that look like? What does that actually mean, like in real life? So as I'm saying, like let's say I'm up and it's 2 a.m. and my babies are sleeping, and I know my baby's waking up in 30 minutes, but sometimes I'll just stand outside. We have a balcony, and I'll stand out there and I'll just look out at the city, at the lights. I'll look up at the stars and at the moon. And, there's just very little noise, little traffic sometimes, but not much. It's very quiet, very peaceful. And my mind naturally becomes very peaceful and contemplative. Right now I'm using it like an adjective, right? Contemplative. My mind becomes contemplative. I begin to contemplate. What? What it means is I just kind of let my mind become open. First, it's kind of a meditation where I am just in this moment, right? I'm just noticing what's happening right now. Right now. I'm not thinking about the future and worrying about problems or plans. I'm not thinking about the past. It's just more of the moment. It's this very nice moment. I notice the temperature. Now it's getting cold, so I notice that it's feeling kind of chilly and cold, and I notice how bright the sky is with the stars and the moon, and I notice all the little lights of the city, and sometimes I'll watch, somebody will walk by, way down, because we're kind of high up, so kind of down on the street somewhere. And then as my mind kind of becomes very quiet like this, then kind of deeper, more philosophical thoughts, spiritual thoughts, just naturally come into my mind. I'm not trying to force it. I'm not thinking, I must think about God now. I must think about Dharma now. I must think about philosophy now. I'm not doing that. But it just seems to happen anyway. When you let your mind quiet down and get into this peaceful, quiet, contemplative mood, I think really normally you need to be alone to do this. If you're with other people, it's hard to do. It's harder to do. It's easier to do in nature. I find it's easier to do at night when all the world is much quieter, and when you're alone. And so you just kind of, you get that in your mind, you let it just get very quiet, and then you just let these deeper thoughts come into your mind. You might think about, a lot of times I think about, my children and appreciating how much appreciate that and how lucky we are that we have got these two babies, and that especially waiting so long in our life. And, I'll think about my life, and I'll think about God, I'll think about Dharma, and sometimes I don't think not so much in words. It's more just observations or feelings or awareness, which is kind of more of a kind of meditation, but not like a disciplined meditation, right? Disciplined meditation where you sit and you focus very, very sharply on your breathing or very sharply on a mantra, but it's more soft than that, where my mind becomes quiet and peaceful, but I'm not trying to push it. I'm not using a lot of discipline. I'm not trying to focus it. It's more restful, more quiet. And I like that. I think there is that meditation is very powerful and useful, but I think that sometimes meditation can feel a little stressful if we're trying to force it too much, right? Where our minds are busy, and we're like, we're trying to focus just on breathing, just on the mantra, just on, right? And it can almost feel like a battle. It's not that's not a good technique, but it just happens sometimes. Whereas if you can create the right conditions, the right environment, the right situation, then that kind of meditation can come more naturally, more easily, by just at a certain time of day or night, by being alone, by being in a very peaceful environment, by letting go of all your problems. For me, that's at the end of the night, all my work is finished. So there's nothing to think about really. And so it just seems like naturally it's this kind of natural meditation, but I'm not sitting, I'm not chanting, I'm not doing anything like that. So I don't call it meditation, I would call it contemplation. Now, occasionally, when in this mindset, when I'm in this contemplative mood or situation, it can sometimes be a good time to think about life, your life, my life, my life. But it's not a good time to think about small problems like, my car's broken. How do I get it fixed? You don't need to contemplate that. That's basic problem solving. But being in those contemplative moods, it's a really good time then to, after a while, when your mind is very quiet and peaceful, to maybe bring up a deeper question you have about your life, a deep question. Like, what should I do with my life now? Right? Something big. What is my purpose? Should I get married? Should I have children now? What is the meaning of my life? These kind of very big and deep and powerful questions, decisions, are best contemplated. It's best to think about them when you're in that peaceful, meditative mindset. Not when you're busy, not to think about them like when you're kind of stressed and you need, like you're trying to solve it as a problem. Oh, I got to solve this problem. Should I do this or not? Not to do it in a purely or only logical way. But, contemplation does use logic. It is rational, but it's something more. It's also, it's the peacefulness, the quiet of your mind, the meditative mindset that you have. It makes you see things more clearly. It makes you understand things, more, important things, more deeply. And you will make better decisions for your life, important decisions for your life, when you are in this contemplative mindset. So it is good for problem solving, but let's say it's good for decision making, this contemplative mindset. But it's best when it's, done for large, big, kind of serious, let's say deep questions. Ooh, I've got one baby next door going crazy right now. Sleepy, tired baby. Yeah. Children crying makes your show more natural. 1 second. She okay? It's bedtime, so I think our girl is just really going crazy. She doesn't want to go to sleep, but she's very sleepy and tired, so she's... So what's the point now? The final thought on this for you, practically, is that so many people now in the world are just so busy. Busy. So, busy with work, busy with, activities. And then in addition to that, they schedule everything, and then they come home and then they're busy. They keep their minds busy by watching media, right? TV shows, movies. And then they finally go to bed, and that they never have time to just spend an hour in that contemplative mindset, right? Just slowing down, peaceful. Some people do it in the morning. Some people like to have that contemplation. I also like it in the morning, where like this can be a ritual, a kind of a contemplative ritual where you wake up in the morning and you have a very slow, especially on the weekend if you don't have to work, and maybe you have a coffee or a tea and you sit down somewhere. Great if you can go outside or maybe next to a window, and you just don't read anything though. Don't read a newspaper. Don't read no media. Just sit with your tea or your coffee or your water and just let your mind be quiet and peaceful, and then just let things come into your mind. And, if you do have some big decisions in life, after you're feeling very, very peaceful, then you maybe think about them a little bit. But don't let yourself get stressed. Just keep that peaceful feeling. And you can do it as ideally it's something you do every day, where you have, let's say, an hour. Ideally that you have something like an hour a day of contemplation time. And there's no plan, there's no force, there's no self-discipline to it. You just relax and you're alone and it's peaceful and you've got nothing to do. You've got no problems to solve, nothing. You just look around, enjoy life, and be right there in that moment. And it's good for your health, physically. It's good for your mental health. It will help you in your big life decisions eventually, but don't worry about it being practical. If you just sit there and you don't think about anything, that's also fine. That's also fine, because you're just meditating then. You're just enjoying your tea or coffee or whatever, and you're just appreciating everything that's around you. And that's also great. But we have to do this because this is like a good antidote to our age of distraction. Antidote, right? So is like something that stops a poison. And the poison of our modern world, one of the poisons, is distraction, right? We have so much distraction, where noise and busyness, and there's always a cell phone or a TV or some kind of newspaper or media, people talking to us, and we never have that totally peaceful, quiet time. And the way to heal this, the way to kind of go against this, to heal your mind from this, the antidote to all that distraction is contemplation, is to spend an hour a day or more where you have none of those distractions. There's zero distraction. It's just peace and calm. You can hear with my baby screaming that I need some of that time because during the day, most of the time, this is what I'm listening to. One second. I'm going to check on her. 1 second. Good God. Is she okay?
I don't know.
Hungry?
No. It's something. It's wrong.
Oh, no.
I might put the patch on her.
Oh, for the respiratory stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and maybe put her in a position kind of where she's sideways like this. That helps me. 45 degrees sometimes. Okay. Okay, we got it. Our babies have been a little bit sick, so that she's having a little cough right now. Okay, and so there we go. Let's just get into live questions and comments now. Sorry about that little break. So just to summarize at the end, make it a daily habit. Make it a daily habit, and at the very least, you have it's super great for lowering stress and just being happier. There will be other benefits too, as I said, but that's probably the best one for me. Children grow and they're a huge payoff. Yeah, I'm not complaining. I don't mind. It's just busy, I love playing with them. I love dealing with them, even if they're crying. Yeah, Ranjan, very poetic. I like this. Let your mind be free to float in nature like a dry leaf floating on water, on the water's surface. That's a nice image. Don't take the effort to swim. Be always in meditation regarding your different activities. Don't try to meditate. Well said. So that's a very nice description of contemplation. Let your mind be free to float in nature like a dry leaf floating on water. That's very nice description. That's like a haiku, like a poetic description. It's very nice. You're not trying to swim. You're not trying to force anything. Very well said. That's nice, Ranjan. Very nice. Can you have both materialism and contemplation together? It's pretty hard. I think, when you're contemplating, you don't feel very materialistic. You're not trying to get things, or you're not focused on getting. You're not focused on greed. It's kind of the opposite of that. You're appreciating what is already there. And this is also true. Hanane says, in the contemplative mindset, you can find yourself at a deeper level of relaxation where you can give yourself any positive suggestion you wish. And you're right, it's almost like self-hypnosis is kind of self-suggestion is what you're describing. That when you put yourself into that, you're opening yourself to appreciation and also if you give yourself positive messages at that time, you choose to think about something very positive, then and concentrate on it for a little while. Or you can even enter into meditation or into prayer after you've been contemplative for a while. Then that's a good time then to do something like this, to give yourself a mental suggestion or to pray or to meditate. They go right into each other. They're very naturally connected. Emmanuel says, I've got a question. Why do most folks getting married at the very young age? I don't think most folks are. I think most people now are getting married at quite an old age, actually. So in my mind, it's a rash decision. In Germany, someone got married at the age of 18. Is it okay? I think it's fine. If you look at history, it's the older age is the strange thing, not young. I mean, my parents, I was born, my parents were, my mom was like 22. My dad was 24, right? I'm 50 when my kids were born. That's weird. I'm weird. I'm abnormal. Of course, I'm very extreme. I waited much too long. So I'm blessed and very grateful, thank God, for our babies. But it was a foolish decision for me to wait so long. But anyway, I think there's nothing wrong. It depends on the person, right? You can have an 18-year-old. Some 18-year-olds, probably now, most 18-year-olds are very childish, unfortunately. But that has not always been true. If you look back in history, in fact, if you just look like maybe 150 years ago, 18 years old, you were a full adult. You were working. You had, in America, you had your own farm. You were probably married, and probably if you had a child or a child was coming soon at age 18, right? You were not just some kid partying and still acting like a child, right? It's now is the problem, where we have people who are 18, 19, 20, 21, 25, 28, and they still act and think like little children, like teenagers. They're not ready to get married. I wasn't ready. I was like that. I was not ready to be married at age 28, or even in my early 30s. I wasn't really ready to be married. I was still too much of a kid, not enough life experience, right? Because I wasted so much time in school, where you are still a child in many ways. In school, I mean university and then grad school. But even in grad school, you're still a child. It's not the real world. You're not becoming an adult yet. So I got out into the real world quite late, and then I felt like I needed to get out there and explore the world. I wish I had done that like 15 years earlier. I wish I had gone out at age 18 or 17 and just traveled the world and worked abroad or worked crappy jobs, and I could have gotten a lot of experience much earlier, but I didn't. But the point is that it's our time now that is strange. So, an 18-year-old who is normal compared to history, a normal 18-year-old who has life experience, who is really an adult, takes care of themselves, then no problem getting married and having children. On the other hand, a modern 18-year-old, a typical 18-year-old now, who still is basically a kid, who has no responsibility, probably a bad idea for them to get married, right? So that's the difference. You can't really base it on age. You have to base it on the person. But Emmanuel is correct in that most 18-year-olds now are very childish. Yeah, Abraham Ali says this nicely. Sometimes we forget to appreciate what's around us. While walking, I like looking at the sky, the sea, and nature. It reminds us to thank God for the best things. It doesn't require money. Best things don't require money. Anyone can do it. This is exactly right. We're surrounded by all this amazement and beauty and mystery, and we just don't even notice it most of the time. Yeah, like Dalal says, it's really powerful to sit alone and think of our own life. Sometimes we'll figure out we're giving issues more than what it's like in reality, right? Too many people don't take time to really think about their life in this contemplative way. Not just what's my problem now, but thinking about the whole big view of your life, right? At least a 5-year view or a 10-year view. Or another way to say it, to think about your life, but to ask in the big questions. What's the meaning of my life? What's the purpose? What makes me happy? What kind of life do I really want to live? How can I contribute to others, to my family, to my community, my people? Right? These are the bigger, deeper questions, and many people just never take time to think about these bigger questions, the most important ones, deeply. Yeah, well, Ashan says, and this is common for all religions. Okay, I'm a Muslim, but most of the Muslims who pray 5 times a day don't even know how to contemplate in praying. They just take it as an order from God to do it and expect a reward from heaven. Yes, a lot of people do things mindlessly. It's not just Muslims, Christians and Christians do it, Buddhists do it, Sanatana Dharmis do it, they all do it, where they're doing it, but they're not really in the right mindset, right? Like this first definition of contemplation, right? Private devotion, concentration on God, spiritual things, as a form of private devotion, so a heart filled with love and appreciation. And if that's missing, then it's a very weak prayer. If you're just kind of bowing, right, or just folding your hands, and it's without that, you're missing the whole heart of it, right? And so that's why this contemplative mindset is so nice, it's so natural. And if you are going to pray, it's good to give yourself 30 minutes before you pray to just relax and be in this contemplative mindset. Let your mind become quiet. As like Ibrahim Ali said, let yourself just look around and appreciate all the beauty and all the great things in your life. Slow down. After 30 minutes of doing that, then you pray, and your mindset when you pray is much stronger, much more contemplative, wise, beautiful. I see everyone concentrating on the baby. I know. She's doing better. Yeah, Douglas says, see, where you talk about the setting is very important. The beach is the best place to contemplate for sure. Beach is very nice. The sound of the waves is peaceful. Very peaceful. Indeed, natural surroundings are, obviously I think are better than a city. Beaches are nice. When we lived on Maui, we would go watch the sunset at the beach most nights. Very nice. Very contemplative. Just watching the sun go down over the, behind the ocean. Mountains can be nice too. Anywhere in nature, really. But even, like I said, even the city for me can be. Not so much in the day. In the city, in the daytime, it's very busy. It's not so contemplative. The energy's too high. But at night, I find cities can be kind of have their own kind of beauty and peace, because everything becomes very quiet, And there's just the little lights of the city, and a few little noises, but it's all fairly peaceful. So I like in the city, I like at night. Yeah, now see, this is something too. Vladislav says, sometimes I contemplate about math problems, how to solve them, think if they have a solution or not. Yes, and this is kind of more at that third or fourth level. But if you do have a problem, again, that's more of a kind of a very big problem, or what's the word? Intellectual problem, I suppose. You can. It's interesting because it's not just trying to just force it with logic. It's somewhere in between thinking and meditating. It's kind of contemplation. For me, is in between those two. Thinking is kind of your mind's very busy, right? You're thinking about it. Should I do this? Should I do that? You're kind of like almost talking in your mind. Meditation, pure meditation, is silent. Your mind becomes silent. But in between, I kind of think of as contemplation, where your mind's not totally silent, but it's slowed down and much, much, much quieter. Just like one thought at a time. And you can really focus on that thought because your mind has become quiet and peaceful. That's another way to think about it. Yeah, this is also a good point, and this is one of the powerful things Lisa mentions. While contemplating, we can deal with the emotions that our thoughts evoke, right? Evoke meaning bring up or cause. While our self-awareness can be strengthened and recognition can lead to good decisions. That is another good point, and that's maybe why it's so powerful, one of the reasons. Because when you're contemplating, because you're so peaceful, physically and mentally, that you can think about something that might be very emotional, but your mind stays clear. In a normal life situation, when you think about something very emotional that has strong emotions, your mind can become like cloudy, right? Like it's the emotion blocks your thinking ability. So then you make bad decisions. You can't think clearly. But if you can slow down and become very peaceful, contemplating, and then you think about that issue or that problem or whatever, that situation, you can see it more clearly, more wisely, and make better decisions and understand it better, because the emotion's still there, but it's more calm because you have become more peaceful and calm. It's a very good point. Dealing with emotional issues, make your decisions when have a peaceful mind. Like, don't make a decision when you're feeling really angry or really sad. Don't make an important decision. Small decisions, doesn't matter. But like an important life decision, don't do that when you're feeling really sad. Don't do that when you're feeling really angry. In fact, don't even do that when you're feeling really excited and happy, because that strong emotion will cause your thinking. You won't think clearly, and then you can make some bad decisions. And so your important life decisions, big ones, do them when you're feeling calm and peaceful and contemplative. You'll make the best decisions then. Oh, this is a kind of Buddhists do this. Adil says, the cemetery is the best place to contemplate. We easily understand the meaning of life. Indeed, this is an actual Buddhist meditation practice, to go, and they have a couple. One is you go and you sit in a cemetery and you meditate in the cemetery. Obviously, the reality of death is right in front of you. There's even a meditation where you sit in front of a dead body, or in your mind, you imagine yourself dead or dying, and you meditate then. And the purpose of that is to remember the reality of impermanence. Nothing's permanent, at least not in this world. Emmanuel says, why is it someone at an older age, like age 55, gets the first baby, he gets criticized? I don't know. I've never been criticized. My uncle's 55 and just got a baby. Well, congratulations to your uncle. Tell him I said congratulations. I'm 51. And I have my first two. They always call him a granddad. Oh, people are joking, saying he's a granddad. Who cares? I don't care. No one says anything to me. I just don't care. I don't know why people do it. People do all kinds of things. Most people are idiots. So don't worry about it. The important thing is your uncle has a baby now. That's great for him. How lucky for him. I'm sure he doesn't really care. I'm sure he's super, super grateful to have his baby. And probably feels lucky at that age, as I do. And who cares what anyone thinks? I don't. I'm too happy about the babies. Yeah, like Anna Rose puts it in a very nice way. Contemplation is to see how God creates the beautiful earth. Indeed. Yes, indeed. Indeed means I agree. Agreeing. Okay. Poor baby. All right. Okay, Eva, this is an interesting question. What shall I do if I've been spoiled by my mom? Now I try all kinds of things, but I still have zero idea who to be. That's okay. Please, she moved to my place after she divorced. She only whines and complains. Well, I don't know about your mom. So it's two separate questions. But if you're spoiled by your mom, if you were spoiled in general as a child, meaning you were kind of overprotected. So what you have to do in that situation, I was that way a little bit. You have to force yourself to take challenges. You have to push yourself to do difficult things, to push yourself into new experiences, and push yourself into uncomfortable situations and doing tough things. This includes physical things like hard exercise, lifting weights, running, rucking, hiking, anything that's hard. Sports, martial arts, jiu-jitsu, mixed martial arts, things like that, boxing. And then, of course, it's the same, intellectually and emotionally. Explore. You're learning English. You speak English now. So get out there and, explore the world, travel to new places. Go to places that seem a little difficult to travel to. Travel alone. Don't just go to the popular tourist places. Go to other places too. And just constantly, this way you'll make yourself stronger. The problem with spoiling children is they become weak. Makes them weak. So if you are kind of weak at a young age because you were spoiled, all right, it's okay. You won't be weak forever. You don't have to be. It's like if you have weak muscles, you just train them. You have to train them. Okay? So it's the same kind of with your mind. If your mind is weak and soft a little bit, emotionally you're a bit soft, then it's good. You know it. You realize it. So what do? You've got to train your mind. You train your emotions. How? You do difficult things, difficult and uncomfortable things, constantly pushing yourself to do difficult and uncomfortable things every day, every week, every month, every year. You'll get stronger and stronger and stronger. You should read the biography of, or read a biography of Teddy Roosevelt, one of an American president, because he was kind of famous. Like as a child, he was weak, and then he became quite a tough, strong guy, and he did exactly this way. Maxim asking, do you have wife or children? You must have come late. Do you have a wife or children? Yes. I guess you missed the screaming baby about 10 minutes ago. So I have two babies and a wife. Yes, I am also married. Yeah, like my pet says, now I personally prefer silence, but I would say some, but my pet says music inspires contemplation, dreams, and imagination. I think especially instrumental music. I think if music has words, it becomes distracting. You're thinking about what the musician wants you to think about instead of opening your mind to God and the universe, So I think sometimes instrumental, like if you listen to Beethoven's Ninth, my favorite, that can be contemplative if you're in the right mood. But I prefer silence, I think. But instrumental music, I would agree with that. Okay, a couple more and I got to go. Yeah, this is a nice saying. Lazarus says, what we plant in the soil, in the dirt of contemplation, we shall reap. We had this word recently. We shall reap in the harvest of action. Right? It means that you think of contemplation like you're planting seeds, right? The seeds of new ideas, the seeds of a new life, the seeds of peace, the seeds of understanding, the seeds of good decisions, the seeds of devotion. And when you do it, you feel good, you feel peaceful, but maybe seems like a small thing, maybe. But when you continue to do it, you may be surprised that some of those little decisions, those little understandings, some of those little moments that a year later, 2 years later, might grow into some incredible actions that you take, changing your life in large ways, in powerful ways, in good ways. Very well said. Okay. I'm 37 years old. This is Ahmad Salim again. My last child is about 2 years old, almost 2. Do you have any practical solutions to find a chance to stay alone without hurting the family gathering? So I do it when they all go to sleep. That's the best way. I stay up later, which means you get less sleep, right? But that's why I do it at night right now, because we have twins, and one baby sleeps early, the one that was just screaming. Usually, she goes to bed earlier, and my wife goes to bed, and they go to sleep, and everyone's sleeping, but then the boy will wake up a lot, especially in the early night. So then I stay up until maybe 2, 3 a.m., and it's just me usually. Sometimes he wakes up, I'm feeding him, but sometimes he's not sleeping or napping, and then everybody's asleep, and that's the perfect time for me to have, an hour or a couple hours of contemplation every night. And eventually, when he starts to sleep more, I'll have to find a different time. So you just have to find a time. You have to just sort of agree on a time. Another way we do it is that sometimes I'll go to a coffee shop. Like if my wife will agree to watch both babies. She'll watch both babies for a while, and then I'll go to a coffee shop and sit and just contemplate. Coffee shops are good, actually. So it's not always nature. Someone mentioned before, I saw a comment that sometimes going into a public place is useful. And actually, I like coffee shops. I find coffee shops are a nice place, like cafes. I go alone and sit with a coffee. I can also contemplate quite well in that setting. So you just got to find that time. You got to make that time. Oh, it's Teacher's Day in Vietnam today. Hong Quan Do says, Mr. AJ, today's Teacher's Day in Vietnam. Wish you always to be healthy and optimistic. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hello to everyone in Vietnam. Okay, I'm going to finish with this comment because it's another nice, beautiful comment. Well written. Abdullahi Osman, good to see you again. The earth and the environment surround us in full beauty. We can consider it an open book. Contemplation is reading and thinking about this open book, which reminds us of the Creator, God, of this beauty. Wow, very nice. See, you guys are, not only are you learning English, you're using it very, very poetically, very nicely. That's very beautiful. I think we're going to end with that. Well said. All right, well, I'll be back again tomorrow. After this, I'm going to make a short video. I'll describe again the YouTube memberships, if any of you are interested. If you're not, don't worry. But if you're interested, I'll make a video. I'll put it on the channel. You can watch it and do a YouTube membership if you want. But most important, to improve your English, go to effortlessenglishclub.com. Join my VIP program at effortlessenglishclub.com. All right, I will be back again tomorrow. As always, lots of love to you. And I'll see you later.